Hey, it's your girl Beverly, and I am sitting here on my red couch with another edition of Slow Your Roll, Girlfriend. Yeah, it's been a minute since I've actually posted anything, but I wanted to share some tips with you today as a result of a doctor's visit that I had today. Okay, so my right hip has been hurting me for quite some time. Um, I started noticing it about 2 years ago, and it has gotten progressively worse. And now, on a scale of 1 to 10 or 0 to 10, it is hovering between an 8 and a 9, and it's extremely difficult to walk from point A to point B. So, back in March, I decided I needed to try to do something more about this. So, I tried to set up an appointment with a surgeon. Now, I had to wait until July to get this appointment because they were all booked. So, hip replacements are quite popular amongst my generation, obviously. So, today I went for the appointment, and he put the x ray up on the screen that I had taken in February, and it showed that my right and left hip were bone to bone. That means I need a hip replacement for both. And then he went on and he gave all this medical jargon trying to, explain to me this and that about the hip replacement. To which, of course, I didn't understand. And I told him that he needed to speak to me in layman's terms so that I could really understand what he was talking about as it relates to my hip and the possibility of surgery. So here's the tips that I want to offer you. Number one, go to your appointment with a list of questions. Not questions that you sit in the doctor's office and just think of as he's or she's talking to you. Have a list. I have a list, and I'm going to show you. This was my list. I took this list, I typed it up, about 20 questions, and I took it with me to the doctor's office because I wanted to make sure that I asked the questions I felt were relevant. So I asked him, how would my pain be managed after surgery? What were the risks involved? I wanted to know what type of prosthetic they used, which he was very surprised that I would ask a question like that because he said most people don't even know what that means. And then I asked him how long this, particular artificial joint would last. Then I asked him what was the CPT code for this particular surgery. The CPT code is a procedure code that you would give to your insurance company so they can determine whether or not it's something they cover under their plan. And they can also tell you roughly how much it would cost. Without that CPT code, you're basically shooting arrows in the dark. Because if you decide that you're just going to go ahead and have the surgery without contacting your insurance company, there's a good chance that they're not going to pay for it. Because a hip replacement is considered elective, it's cosmetic, it's just to make you walk better. And the insurance company is going to want to know all of the things that you've done prior to getting to this point. Did you get the cortisone shots? Did you do the physical therapy? Did you take medication? What are all the things that you've done? And if you haven't done anything, chances are they're just going to deny it. So you want to get the CPT code and you want to, take all of those necessary measures that you need to take before you have to get to this point. And the other thing about choosing a good surgeon is something I did not do is either get a referral or do your research. I did some research, but I, Googled the doctor and he was the one who came up in a video. And I looked at the video and I said, oh, yeah, he looks okay. So let me set up an appointment with him. Well, I've since come to learn that there are some other surgeons that are better than he is, but unfortunately, they're booked and I can't get to them. So, what I'm saying to you is get your CPT code. Make sure you ask questions. If the doctor is saying things you don't understand, make sure you get clarification and make sure you check with your insurance company to see if, in fact, this is an elective procedure they will cover. And that CPT code, by the way, is a 5-digit number with no dots. If they give you a 5-digit number with a dot in between, that's a diagnosis code. That is not a CPT code. Okay. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Slow Your Roll, girlfriend. Here's to your good health. Bye.